and welcome to Filming in Italy, presented by the Italian Trade Agency, who have a booth out here on the 5th floor. There are a number of film commissions from Italy that are present here at the AFM, so if you have the opportunity, please go and meet with them. And Italy is obviously home to some of the world's most beautiful cities, mountains, and rivers, countryside, and beach towns. My name is Robin Burt. I'm the VP of Marketing for the Independent Film and Television Alliance and the American film market. I'd like to introduce our moderator, Eleonora Granata Jenkinson, who is president of Melograno Films. She has produced numerous films over the years, including Medias and Monica, both directed by Andrea Palero, Galore by Rhys Graham, and Oliver Stone's documentary, The Ukraine on Fire, to name just a few films. She brings a wealth of film production and acquisition experience, previously working for Turner Pictures, Pandora Films, and RCA Films and Television in Italy. Please welcome Eleonora.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for coming to this panel. The panel is organized by ICE, the Italian Trade Association, and it's organized together with the Italian institution of the Consulate of Italy, Anica, and Cinecittà. And during this morning, we hope to illustrate and to get you to be more aware, because Italy is like in a very good point in producing and receiving production from the United States, but we had a lot of news, and we have news that we are going to introduce you to and make you aware. And then we're going to go into the presentation of some of the most beautiful regions in Italy and their grants, their funds. And you will see also visually the wonderful location and get to know the people who work there and the producer and the commissioners. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Silvia Chiave, our wonderful General Consul of Italy, which is part of the organization of this panel.
Thank you. Thank you, Eleonora. Thank you all. Welcome to this panel, which is organized in the framework of our promotional activities within the American film market. A warm welcome to all our guests, to our speakers. I will mention them all. Our advisor for international relations of Cinecittà, Roberto Stabile, will probably join in a few minutes, but welcome when he will come. Iole Maria Giannattasio will join us virtually from our Ministry of Culture. And then we have our films commissions, Genova, Liguria, Sardinia, Toscana, and Calabria, represented by Cristina Bolla, Stefania Ippoliti, Nevina Satta, Silvia Bizio, and Cristina Priarone, whom is director of Rome Lazio Film Commission, but also president of the Association of the Italian Film Commissions. And of course, thank you to our wonderful moderator, Eleonora Granata Jenkinson. It's actually, with Roberto Stabile not here, we are a panel entirely composed by women. Let's bear us an applause. So, as Eleonora was mentioning, it is very timely moment to talk about filming in Italy, because despite all the constraints due to the pandemic, the last few years have seen a boom in local productions in Italy that were actually driven by the state-backed support for the country's audiovisual sector, which is considered more and more an important sector for growth and recovery. It is not a case that in 2021, in summer, the meeting between the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, and our former Prime Minister, Mario Draghi, took place at Cinecittà, precisely to announce the approval by Brussels of the funding of the Italian National Recovery Plan. And that was not announced by Andrea Siglia's plan. It was announced in Cinecittà. And of this plan, $300 million have been set aside for investments and development of the cinema sector for the period run up to 2026. Welcome to Roberto Stabile. Come here on stage with us, Roberto.
Welcome. It's okay.
Now it's not anymore an all-women panel, so... So we were talking about the investments in the framework of the National Recovery Plan for the audiovisual sector in Italy, different lines of intervention, strengthen Cinecittà Studios, attract national and international productions, build and develop infrastructures, reinforce professional abilities in the audiovisual sector, also in order to favor digital transition. Cinecittà has also a new industrial plan to be entirely restored and become an increasing attractive place, not only to visit and to see the history of what is the Italian cinema, but also to shoot and to make Italy contribute to making a global player again in the sector. Well, all the tax credit, 30% for production, and increased investment obligations for global platforms are also helping, but this will be the focus of the other interventions, and so I won't develop further. The Italian government has also set up, with the help of ANICA, good distribution funds, which supports the release of Italian films abroad. What is sure is that Italy is actually correctly building over the comparative advantage that it has for all, the attractiveness that Italy has and that Italian cinema has. And this also always reminds me once that Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos told me, when we need an Italian atmosphere, when we need an Italian feeling, we need to go and shoot in Italy. There is no other place in the world where we can find an Italian atmosphere that can be expressed. And I was very happy about that. And Netflix is shooting a lot in Italy, actually. So we are also making efforts to increase quality, to articulate productions, to attract more global audience, and also thanks to the government attention, I think there's a shifting from an artisanal approach to an industrial one, also that takes into account how the market is changing. And this increase of production is a great opportunity for Italian companies. Last but not least, we're also aiming at increasing the number of co-productions, creating new opportunities for international partnerships, and that's also been boosted by the creation of a specific fund, Minority International Co-Production Fund, created by our Minister of Culture, to help filmmakers to think globally and to promote cross-borders co-production. So there's still to go. There will be more growth. I think that this dialogue, strengthened dialogue that the institutions and the industry have built will put us more and more on the right path. So now I'm sure today's occasion also of meeting and networking will be really fruitful for all. And now, I don't know if I should send the video bit or give the floor to our wonderful director of the Italian Trade Agency. There is a beautiful video that is the fruit of an effort, a big promotional effort that has been made by the Italian government, the Italian Trade Agency, in the framework of a campaign, a promotional campaign to communicate better how our country is a country of innovation that builds on traditions to innovate. It's a modern and beautiful country. So maybe, Alessandra, if you agree, we can launch Be It, this video, and then
I would like Alessandra to present this video for a second. I'm changing slightly because I would like Alessandra Rainaldi, which is the commissioner of the Italian Trade Agency, to say a couple of words. She's not here, but she's virtually here. And right after, we'll go with the small Be It video.
Okay, thank you. Alessandra, the floor is yours then. Thank you all.
Yeah. I'm here on the other part of the screen, but I'm here. So thanks. I'm very happy to give my welcome as Italian Trade Commissioner and as organizer of this industry panel that we co-organize with all the institutions that our Consul General was mentioning before. So as Italian Trade Agency, we are a governmental agency, and we are strongly committed in the promotion of all the industries that make part of our Made in Italy abroad. And so film and audiovisual is one of these. And our aim is double. The first is to expand the Italian film exports, promoting the internationalization of the Italian audiovisual industry abroad by bringing companies so in the main promotional events. So today at the American film market, we have a huge delegation of almost 25 among distributors and producers, and 6 film commission that will you will know later on in the panel as well, and you will find also in the location expo. So why this? Because this is the testimonial of what is happening in Italy in this industry. The Italian entertainment industry has been recently experiencing what we can call a real renaissance, in the sense that has increased the competitiveness in terms of quality and in terms also of the execution. And we are here today just to explain why Italy is today a strategic film partner for all the international and American production and co-production. I just underline 2-3 elements. The first is, of course, the generous tax credits that our system can deliver. And today, with Mrs. Giannattasio from the Ministry for Culture, we will have a framework of these tax incentives at national and at regional level. The second pillar is the increased investment that we had in the sector in terms of infrastructure and in terms also of technology. And for example, the ongoing renovation and expansion of Italy's historical Cinecittà and TV studios is an example. And the third element is given from the numbers that say that new capability is ongoing on our major local companies that are handling big film and TV production. So for all of this reason, we are more and more, as Italian Trade Agency Los Angeles office, strongly committed in our activity here in this strategic market that remain the main in the global overview in international markets. Just to conclude, and with this, so we are committing many promotional events, but this year we have also implemented a new communication project, which is called Italy Meets Hollywood. And we are implementing, we have already delivered the first issue of our newsletter, Italy Meets Hollywood, which is dedicated to give to our Italian industry the main information, news and events about what happened in Hollywood. And a new tool will be delivered in the next month, which is Italy Meets Hollywood's website. It's not only an informational platform, but it will act also as a platform where you can find news and events about what happened in the US, but it's also a bridge between the two industries. And so it will help also US American industry to navigate into the system of the Italian industry in terms of tax credit, in terms of its incentives, but also in terms of all the main player that can support the production and co-production in Italy. And a last section will be implementing in this website, which will be more business oriented. And it's a sort of platform where the two industries can meet in a marketplace. So I will leave you to you can download our newsletter in the QR code, which I suppose it's in the meeting room. And I will leave you updated with our website in the next weeks. So it's my pleasure, and enjoy the panel. Bye.
Thank you, Alessandra Rainaldi, and thank you, Silvia Chiave. And now we go with a small video called Be It, organized by the Italian government and the Ministry of Culture.
What is it? It is passion and style, heritage and diversity, creativity and innovation, but there's so much more to it. Everyday visionaries, original and refined, stubbornly authentic, with unmatched quality on our mind. Every time you live it, wear it, feel it, taste it, you'll know it's true. It is our brand, cool and unique. Italy is simply extraordinary. Be it.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Roberto Stabile of Cinecittà. He's an advisor for international relations and in charge of special project of the Ministry of Culture. And he's also head of the international department at ANICA. And he's also an advisor of ICE, the Italian trade agency. And without further ado, Mr. Stabile.
Good morning. Sorry for my late arrival, but I have seen that the consul did a great job. She's a consul of Italy, but I think she's the best ambassador of the audiovisual industry. So thank you so much for your presentation.
Absolutely.
Today we are here to offer you a point of view to the Italy. Everyone knows that in Italy we have a fantastic landscape, that's a beautiful country, good food, but Iole Giannattasio will present all the incentive power offered by the Italian government, and we have all the best Italian Film Commission here to explain what they will do. Not only service, but also some money from the regional fund. So I think the presentation will be very interesting for you, and I leave the stage to the other person. Once again, thank you so much. Thanks to the Italian Trade Agency and Consul. Thanks, bye-bye.
So Mr. Stabile and our panelists are going to be also here at the end for Q&A in case something is going to come up. And I'm now going to introduce you virtually with Iole Maria Giannattasio. She's going to describe the tax credit, cash rebates, and all the other phenomenal and generous advantages, funds and grants, and most of all tax credit, the Italy offer to producers and to international and domestic operator in the film business and in the audiovisual. Here we are, Ms. Giannattasio.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, buongiorno. I'm very happy to join you. I'm so sorry not to be able to be there with you in person, but I hope I can still convey our message and describe you with a short overview what our tools for professionals are. And of course, I'm available for any questions afterwards, because I know this would be a lot in a very short time. So there might be areas that are not extremely clear, but I'll try and do my best. So first of all, I'm here representing the Direzione Generale Cinema e Audiovisivo, which is a department within the Ministry of Culture, MIC. That's the name with which we are known in Italy and internationally. So we are within the Ministry of Culture. We're not a separate agency. And within the Ministry of Culture, we manage the National Film Fund, which is actually one of the biggest funds in Europe. It has been increasing in its resources in these recent years, up to reaching a minimum annual budget of 750 million euros. And that's the minimum. We've always topped it on with other resources. So it's a really huge tool to support all segments on the industry. We start with supporting writers, then we go into development, production, distribution, sales, exhibitions, festivals, events. So we really cover the whole industry, because this is not just a subsequence of schemes. It's a system that needs to work consistently at a national level, but also coordinating with the local regional level. So what we do is mainly using this support to create audiovisual products. So most of the fund goes to production, and we do this in different ways with different schemes, which means different rules to support the same thing, which is producing films and other audiovisual products. And let me just take 1 minute here to clarify what we mean with other audiovisual products. This is basically all sorts of formats. So it's TV series, documentaries, animations, short films, feature films, all sorts of creative audiovisual products have access to our funding. But there are two ways to access our funding: as a national film, and in just one case as a foreign, sorry, I say film, but here maybe I should say project, let's say as an audiovisual project, either a film or other formats, or as a foreign project. So a national project is a project who has received Italian nationality. This means it's a project that it's either fully produced by Italian producers or it's co-produced with foreign producers. So this happens thanks to co-production agreements, treaties between countries we have in place, but also in the case of the US, which is one of these countries with whom we don't have a treaty because this is not in the American tradition, we still can acknowledge Italian nationality of a project that has been developed between an Italian producer and an American producer. This happens if it's a case-by-case decision, but it's important maybe just to clarify that the minimum requirement in this case is that at least 20% of the project is in the hands of the Italian producer. So the Italian share is at least 20%. And the project has to show particular elements of artistic, cultural, industrial, or commercial interest. And industrial commercial interest, it's already, let's say, shown by this 20% participation. So in this case, even though it's not a mutual acknowledgement of nationality by the two states, but still from the Italian side, we can acknowledge that this film is Italian. We recognize it as an Italian nationality, meaning this opens the door to all our support schemes. Nevertheless, there's also a possibility for films that are not Italian at all, but are just made in Italy. And I will go there in a minute, because first I want to describe to you the tools we have, because it's a wide spectrum of tools for co-production. So what I was saying before, the case in which Italy participates with at least 20% share. So we have three main tools. The most mentioned one being this tax credit, which is the most mentioned because it's the richest, meaning it has the biggest fund, the biggest budget. It's automatic, so one doesn't need to go through a very long process of assessment by experts, by a discretional decision. Once one has the requirements, you're already that you have access to this tax credit. And it's a very high share of tax credit because it's set at 40% for films and 30 to 40% for other audiovisual products. So this is basically a tax offset of all possible fiscal debts related to the film, to the project, but also in general to the company. Meaning that this is not I want to be clear here, it's not a cash rebate. We're not giving cash to companies. We're just reducing the amount, the 40% of the eligible expenses as a cost of the project. The project will cost less because there will be no taxes paid related to the project or in general related to the fiscal debts the company, the producing company, has towards the state. So it's a very agile tool, and it's the requirements are really basic because it's mostly requirements related to the company, so to its social capital and to the timeline of the shootings. It's something that one is supposed to just apply when the shootings is about to happen. It happens in 2 stages, with a provisional recognition and a final one the work is completed, and it's pretty easy to use. So this is probably the most renowned one. Secondly, we have instead what we call the selective contribution, which is what I was referring before. So it's a competitive scheme in which projects apply, and then there is an expert committee who decides which are the most deserving projects based on the quality of the script, on the cast of the crew, obviously. And then we have the automatic contribution, which again, it's automatic, but it's based on the track record of the company. And it's based on a point system. I won't go into details not to bore you because it's a bit complex, but just for you to have an idea of what the different tools are. So the automatic contribution and selective contribution are grants. So in this case, there's cash and it's not recoverable. What is also important to know that in all these schemes, co-productions are privileged, are advantaged, because they have bonuses, they have extra points, the eligible expenses are more flexible. There are all possible ways to support co-productions even better than national films, because one of our goals is to support international cooperation. So this is what we do, and all our tools are set in a way that encourages co-producing with Italy. Nevertheless, we have created a minority co-production fund just to support co-productions in which Italy is a minority partner. So if there is an American producer who has a project in mind and wants to co-produce it with Italy, so the majority share would be in the hands of the American producer. Well, for this kind of films, and in this case it's films only, either fiction, documentaries, or animation, but feature films released in theaters, then there is this fund, which has a budget of 5 million euro per year, with 2 calls per year, again, non-recoupable grant. And again, another tool that has increased a lot the level of co-production we produce, and we're very happy with the results we're having with most of the films that were supported through this fund now attending the most important and prestigious film festivals around the world. That being said, I will go back now to what I was mentioning earlier, meaning there's even one tool for films that are not Italian. So how can this be? Well, the tax credit is the only support scheme that can also support American in this case, but let's say foreign productions, either for films or other audiovisual formats that come and shoot in Italy. What we require is that there's at least 1 day shooting on Italian territory, and the expenses that are incurred in Italy, they are all eligible for this 40% tax credit. It's always 40% in this case, whether it's a film or it's a TV series. There's no difference as it applies instead in the national tax credit. The only thing to bear in mind that the expenses are eligible up to 80% of the budget. So if there would be, for instance, a film that is fully shot in Italy, then only 80% of these expenses would be eligible to the tax credit. And another important practical information that one might want to know is that the direct beneficiary is actually not the foreign producer, but it's the Italian line producer. So you would need to hire a line producer who will apply, who will spend the money in Italy, because of course, being taxed off that, this means the company needs to pay taxes in Italy to be able to benefit from the tax credit. Then obviously the foreign company commissioning the project will get actually the benefit indirectly, because this will be factoring in the reimbursement to the line producer. To wrap up, let me just mention that we also support distribution of Italian films abroad by supporting local distributors abroad, and we support the presence of our works at international markets, at festivals. So we support the sales and the international circulation of our project, because I was saying at the beginning, it's a full encompassing system that never leaves the professionals alone, never leaves a project alone after it has gotten support, for instance, for production. We follow up until the very end because we want our beautiful works to travel around the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Iole Maria Giannatasio. And again, if anyone has question, I do have a question for you, Iole Maria Giannatasio. I was a recipient of an international co-production, minority co-production, and it was great, I have to say. But also, I have some question for my future film. Anyway, now we have a beautiful video to launch, which is prepared by the Direzione Generale Cinema. And I think that we are ready to go with that. There. So this concludes the first part, the institutional part of, let's call it, of our panel. And we now want to, present you with the first of the Film Commission, which is Roma Lazio. But in this case, we have the wonderful Cristina Priarone. She's also the president of the Italian Film Commissions in general, in addition to be the commissioner and president of the Lazio Roma Film Commission. So, Cristina, if you want to come up and make your presentation.
Thank you, Eleonora. And good morning. Yes. Maybe I represent here the Italian Film Commission Association. Maybe we can start, Eleonora, from our video, the IFC video. Yes. And then we start with the presentation. Briefly, don't be scared. So, just a very brief video to introduce our association. We are the Italian Film Commission Association. We have 20 associated film commissions all around the Italian territory. Italy has got 20 different regions, and let me say very, very different, not just in terms of landscape, though they are all wonderful and fascinating areas, but in particular, they are very different in terms of tools, of opportunities for audiovisual, in terms of approach and skill. And what is important to say is that throughout, here you can see all our members, but we will be back on this later on. But the point I would like to highlight you is that throughout the association, you could have access to all the advantages and all the opportunities of the different 20 territories and the different 20 full commission in a very effective way. We work very linked together, we exchange best practices, and we promote all together our countries. So really we work very linked each other in order to give you our best assistance. Let me introduce our board, our two vice presidents, Paolo Manera of Torino Piemonte Full Commission and Luca Ferrario of Trentino Full Commission. And roughly speaking, because we are in a market, so it's useful to go to the point, the Italian Full Commission has done really a big work regarding resources for audiovisual. So nowadays, all our structure together has got 52 million euros of funds available for cinema, TV series, and all the project. We can say that roughly we have 25 different funds, and most of them are with the automatic mechanism. And you will find here a recurring amount of 200,000 euro per fund, but it's just an indication, because everything is always changing and is not a representative average, let me say. Here you can find all the details, but on our website of the association and of all the associated members, you will find all the details. You know, we started years ago, let our full commission grown up being always bigger, but it's always a work in progress. And just to highlight you, in this year, we had 3 different new funds with Marche Full Commission and Calabria Full Commissions and Abruzzo Full Commission. So my suggestion is to keep an eye on our association, because always there are some good news. This kind of work, let me say, enforcement of our structure is done also thanks to very good institutional partnership. We work very linked with the ministry, the DG Cinema of the Ministry for Culture, or with the National Tourism Board, and also we are associated members of the International Association of Full Commissions. For example, with the DG Cinema, we work on some strategic guidelines, for example, on the harmonization of funds, because as I told you before, different regions, different rules, different funds, so the association is keen in harmonizing this opportunity. We work also in training and audience development, in the internationalization. Often we collaborate with ANICA and ICE and all the institutional partners. And also we work on the cultural heritage in order to let our cultural heritage to be more easy for shootings, more open for shootings. So it's a goal of the association, because we have a wonderful patrimony, but not always is easy to get access to that wonderful places. But as an association, we don't have just public partnership, but also private partnership. For example, with Netflix, we realized the organization of a fund, a support fund of 1 million euro during the lockdown for the workers of audiovisual which lost their job. So we work very well with Netflix, and we go ahead with other projects. As association, you can find us at the main film festival and market around the world. So in Cannes Film Festival, Berlin, and obviously in Venice and Rome, but also Ventanas Tour, Toronto, and obviously AFM. We are very happy to be here again, and maybe we can also start to brainstorming some new activities for the next year to be done here. And when we participate at markets and festivals, always we have some activities. One, it's a sort of signature activities, Cappuccino with Italians, which is a networking activities to let foreign producer meet the Italian producer and the Italian Film Commission. Here you can say the last one in Mia Market, or in the previous one in Venice. As association, we also work on some main issues, as the green, for example, the green matter, and mostly with Trentino and Sardinia Film Commission. They are our heroes on the green. And also we start with other initiative for the next periods, for example, on training, because we need to train new professionals in Italy. We are full of production and we need to train more professional. So we are here today to present our territories, our structure. As Eleonora said before, you will have the presentation of the 6 attending Film Commission, but really I would like to introduce you, to highlight you all our members, because all our territories are very beautiful, of course. Mostly they are well known all over the world, but they are really good professionals. They have funds and tools available for you. So I would like to start from the north and to go quickly in the south, just give you some brief highlight for each one. So let's start from Val d'Aosta Film Commission. It's in the north. It's very famous for castles and mountains. Just to give you an idea, The Avengers has been shot there. So it's really an interesting area. Then you will see Genova, Liguria later on. And then we go in the north, in Lombardia Film Commission. It's the second region in Italy after Lazio for audiovisual. That is the Milan area and is focused on TV production also. They are rearranging the Film Commission, but it's a very interesting area, especially for TV production. Then we go to Torino Piemonte Film Commission. It's the oldest film commission in Italy. They have funds, they are very well organized, and they are keen also in documentary funds and development of project of co-production, and they will have their film festival, Torino Film Festival, in the next December, I think. It's a very important film festival in Italy. Then we go to the east side in Veneto Film Commission, which is the region of Venice, very well known. They have a quite new fund since 3 years, and wonderful location. More than Venice, you can find many different places. Then we go on the east side, Friuli Venezia Film Commission. They are very keen in developing co-production with the Eastern Europe. So it's very useful also to build up the co-production, a trilateral, I mean. Then Trentino Film Commission. And then the IDM is in the very north of Italy, the region Alto Adige, and we can say wonderful landscape, snow, mountain, and very good fun. Then you have the Emilia-Romagna Film Commission, which is the Fellini land. It's a very well-organized territory for shootings, and in that territory, in that region, there is also one of the main archive. We have obviously Cinecittà, but there is the Cineteca of Bologna, very famous and all over the world. Then we have, just let me say, Toscana, and Umbria Film Commission. It's a countryside in the center of Italy, typical medieval villages and countryside, and they have a renewed Film Commission with a new fund. Then we have Abruzzo Film Commission. They are rebuilding up the Film Commission, but they already launched a new fund, if I'm not wrong, of €2 million for this year. And then we have Marche Film Commission with a new director, new opportunities, and a new fund. And Lazio Film Commission, maybe I can say something later with the video. And the Film Commission of Campania is the region of Naples, where Gomorrah has been shot, and they have huge fund and really wonderful opportunities. Then you'll see the presentation of Calabria Film Commission, and we have Lucana Film Commission, Basilicata region. They are rearranging the Film Commission because, you know, in Italy we love change, so we can say. But you should know that this is the region of Matera, where The Passion of Mel Gibson has been shot and where The Last 007 has been shot. So a wonderful location, incredible territory. And then Apulia Film Commission in the south. They have good funds, a very well organized area for shootings. And then you'll see the Sardinia and Sicily Film Commission. They have a brand new fund, and they would like to promote also this very well-known area in different and new way. So I think we finished, and this is just an outline, very, very quick, very brief, but that give you the idea of the opportunities and of good differences which are in our territory. So we're really happy as the Italian Film Commission and as Associated Film Commission to welcome you and for everything you might need. We are here in these days. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cristina. And, you know, I can see that there are so many new and phenomenal reasons to go back to Italy any day, anytime, anywhere. It's going to be hard to find where, because everywhere is fantastic. And speaking of which, we'd like now to show you a brief film on Roma Lazio Film Commission prepared by them. Thank you, that's fantastic. And I would like to call...
sorry, yes. I don't want to use too much time, but just two words regarding our fund. We have 23 million euro per year on audiovisual, 10 million are dedicated to the automatic support in our region, but what I would like to highlight is that 10 million euro per year are specifically dedicated to co-productions. So it's a grant, it's for work with a budget, a minimum budget of 1.5 million or 750,000 euro per first and second work. And we will have the next call in November or December. You need always a Lazio-based producer because the money goes to the Lazio-based producer. But really, it's our goal to develop co-production in our region. In the last 5 years, we had 154 international co-productions supported by our fund. So we wait for you. Thank you for this occasion, and I'm happy to leave the stage to my colleague and to their wonderful opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Cristina. So I would say that the friends representing the commissions that we have here, Regione Lazio, Regione Toscana, Calabria, and Sardinia, please come here. So we go in a presenting one by one, and we're gonna start with Cristina Bolla, which is president of Genova Liguria Film Commission. And please go ahead and tell us the news about what's going on now in Liguria.
The video? With the video. Okay.
A very English hotel on the Italian Riviera.
La vita è una figata. Non avere paura del buio.
La tempesta è stata tremenda. L'uragano ha completamente investito la barca.
Lei è andata a letto con il nostro morto?
In quel momento era più in forma. Chi c'era con lui?
It doesn't matter what you want. Your marriage has been arranged.
France accepts Catherine de' Medici in marriage.
Abbiamo un problema con i sudamericani. Hanno occupato la vecchia palazzina, sarà una settimana.
Quelli ci sono cresciuti nella violenza.
Ci ha solo invitati a passare il weekend su uno yacht con la sua famiglia.
Vuoi rovinare la festa invitando dei civili? C'è chi si chiede perché io abbia lasciato Hollywood. L'ho lasciata perché mi sono innamorata di un principe azzurro.
You know what this is? It's money. I'm going to repair the silk mill.
Hai perso 7 minori, hai rubato la macchina, hai ammazzato 2 pecore e hai scippato una vecchia.
Un bambino che non usciva mai di casa, passava tutti i suoi giorni ad osservare i ragazzi del paese.
Thank you very much.
Cristina Bolla, please now let us know what's new and exciting in Liguria, because
Yes,
we know there is.
I am the president of Liguria Genova Film Commission, but I'm the president of Centro Studi Amadeo Peter Giannini. And I ask you, do you know Amadeo Peter Giannini? Yes, oh, wonderful, wonderful. Amadeo Peter Giannini was an American businessman. I love him. But of Italian origins and Ligurian origins. He founded the Bank of America, but the Bank of Italy and the Bank of America. He was the first to believe in the creative industry. And for this reason, our film commission starts from Giannini's visions. We strongly believe in the creative industry and in its potential. Our region, Liguria, is rich in locations such as Portofino, Sanremo, Genova, of course, Cinque Terre, Bordighera, and so on. We have location on the sea, on the snow, historical village, large city like Genova and La Spezia, for example, and small village, small town like Portofino and Finalborgo, for example, Dolceacqua, Le Cinque Terre, Porto Venere. We have a lot of small, beautiful cities. And for that reason, that makes Liguria so unique for me. And our services, we have a lot of services, and I want to present some of our services because our film commission is very active. We can location research and organize of scouting, organize the production for the logistics, authorization, permissions, production guide, with all services for with us professionals, casting week for the actors and the extras, PAC, our creative industry, Video Porto, sound stage and facilities, educational training, and our regional fund. That I want to thank Mr. Garnero that he is here in this moment from Regione Liguria for the regional fund.
Thank you so much, and we are now going into the film from Toscana Film Commission, followed by the presentation of the director of the Film Commission, Stefania Politi.
Thank you, Eleonora. Thank you to Cristina, our president, because she's always so clever presenting our organization. Thanks a lot, Cristina.
So we're watching the video now,
yes,
and then we're going ahead.
Embark on an adventure to the world's most exquisite destination. A place of preserved history. Incomparable beauty and unparalleled tranquility.
I know why I am in Florence.
Unified by these magnificent undulating Tuscan hills.
Thank you. We joked about the thing that we are very well known as a tranquility place for retirement, maybe, but it's an exciting place. As you can see, a lot of production that made action movie, they selected Tuscany. We are the first to be surprised, but anyway, it works. And so I would like to highlight a couple of things. Of course, we do have the usual good quality standard services of all the Italian Film Commission. But I would like to add that we have from 4 years infrastructures that we think would be quite useful, because we do have Manifatture Digitali Cinema. They are a sort of a mock-up of Cinecittà, very small infrastructures where you can find offices for production, whatever you may need as casting, of course, and costumes and whatever. But what you can find in Tuscany is services, not only wonderful location, but you can also make up your mind to keep in Tuscany a wide range of services of very good quality and very competitive, talking of costs. So you can have, for example, in Siena, because of our partnership with Accademia Chigiana, a very ancient institution that teach music, you can have your film scoring done, or you can have your film scoring registered and very well played by the Toscana Orchestra. This could be an opportunity because the quality is very high. As I say, the costs are very affordable. Then you can have costumes done in Prato because you are in the very heart of textile district. Or in Pistoia, you have the possibility to have scenes done, as I said, in a very, very high quality. This is our philosophy. So not just beautiful location and of course easy liaison with all the public bodies in Tuscany to obtain access to difficult location, for example, and all the permits you may need, but also to let you keep services of, as I said, from a technology point of view, an artisanal point of view, very well done in Tuscany. Make up your mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefania Politi. Now we're going to watch a video of a particularly beautiful region, which is Sardinia. Which is known to the American for only one little part, and we are here to learn a lot more than that, and we're going to watch a video, and then Nevina Satta, director of Sardinia Film Commission, is going to tell us more.
Era fantastico. Questa finestra che apriva sul mare. È un posto bello, viene voglia di starsene qua a riposare.
La Sardegna non si tocca.
There is actually a, thank you. There is also a little video on animation that I think we can play straight on, please. Yes, we are not only swimmers, surfers, and in a way, a version of California in the center of Europe, but we are very proudly back to the American film market after last time we met, which was in the occasion of the Career Prize, the Oscar for Lina Wertmüller. So big honor to her, which has been, of course, an incredible inspiration for a lot of female filmmakers and not only female producers. We're a very matriarchal society, and you can see that this is true for Italy, probably, according to the fact that this panel is, again, all female lead. But truth to be told, Sardinia has developed in 10 years of life a strong below-the-line presence, significant capacity, as Stefania was saying, like all the Italian regions, to welcome productions from development stage. We love to organize retreats for screenwriters coming from all over the world. We have also, and we host the main prize for screenwriters in Italy, which is the Premio Solinas, and we are partnering with the biggest institutions that run programs to train young writers globally. We love to think that the island is a bubble, so guarantees the focus to create unique stories, not necessarily generated from Sardinia, but we believe that it's such a peaceful and unique temple for nature and biodiversity that everything, including, new solutions to the contemporary global emergency for climate can be, found in a place where there is a harmony. That, of course, comes also from our being a native culture. We are, as you guys all know, probably a very ancient population. We are Italians, but we were also sailors, and this gives to Sardinia a very unique feel for period pieces. Not only George Clooney at Catch-22, as you guys know, a Paramount TV production, but we got also the luck of hosting last year the shooting for Disney of The Little Mermaid, which is going to be released next year. So on one hand, there is the possibility of, choosing pristine and untouched locations, but we believe that the real challenge is for everybody to really spend enough time in Italy and test the quality of crews, stimulus of stories, and of course, in our case, the latest investment has been on animation and visual effects. So we created a real lab for production and training with our Northern American partners of Toon Boom. We're focusing at the moment mostly in 2D animation, but we're also expanding residential structures for visual artists to develop VR as well as visual effects experiments, mostly focusing at the moment for under 18 projects. So if you have anything on your hat that you want to develop, let's talk later. Last but not least, something about the incentives. It was very clear, and thank you so much, Christina, for explaining. The regional funds that we have a variety of types all over the country, but in Sardinia we chose to develop the cash rebate selective system in order to reduce the impact of the travel that you have to make, because we are an island in the middle of the sea. So you have to come and visit us with a strong intentionality, picking up a plane or a boat. This includes also a compensation fund for sustainability measures, and we support the companies to get their green certification. And also for animation film, we now have developed a sustainability program in order to make your entire conceptualization and pre-production sustainable. Last but not least, I would like to say something about the fact that, like California, we are a blue zone. And what we love about our region is that not only you can live longer, maybe together we can find the secret for never-ending life, but I think that there is an ongoing solution for making this industry more sustainable and exemplary, to trace new ways of producing, of combining science with art and talent. So we're available in the next few days to talk to you, and don't waste time around, but just come as soon as you can and get one-way tickets to Sardinia, because it's worth it.
Thank you so much, Nevina Satta. Now, last but not least, as we said, here we have Silvia Bizio talking about a region called Calabria. And she's a journalist, she's a member of Hollywood Foreign Press, but she's also a consultant for the Calabria Film Commission. So, go ahead. the film. There is a video.
Thank you. I'm kind of, I always think I'm sort of the odd woman out here because I don't really, as opposed to these wonderful ladies who talked about their film foundations and their regions, I don't belong to the Calabria Film Commission, but I have sort of been adopted by Calabria. I'm from Rome, I live here, my father was from Venice, but in the last 10 years I've been, or more, I've been the consultant, international consultant, and direct the international section of the Magna Grecia Film Festival, which is, it's a very big by now festival, has been around for 20 years, started in Soverato, now is in Catanzaro, might move to another location on the sea, but going there to that festival year after year and bringing big celebrities from Hollywood, I learned to love the region and see what they're capable of and what, you know, of course, we hear how much, you know, how wonderful Italy is and all the different regions. I fell in love with Calabria because of all those reasons, the sea, the coastline, but to me, fantastic also the Sila Mountains. You know, in 45 minutes from the beach, you can be up at 2,000 meters, and no, maybe not 2,000, but close enough. I remember my mother having heart pressure problems up there. But you feel like you're in the Dolomites. So speaking of different locations and where you can shoot your movies, you know, you have mountains and sea and the countryside all in one. That said, I'm supposed to tell you about what the Calabria Film Foundation, Calabria Film Commission Foundation has. Also, like other regions in Italy, they have the same tax credits. They have a 5 million euros budget, which they did last year, and it's going to be the same this coming year. They offer a 500,000 euros help for production above 3 millions, 250 for the productions below 3 millions, 50,000 to documentaries, 30,000 to shorts. Did I get my numbers right? And so, but these are all things, obviously, that you can find like in every film commission, on their website, and pretty easy to participate to their calls for shooting. The one thing that I do want to say is that work has started on the building of the Lamezia Terme studio, which is so far $11 million euros has been put in towards the construction of the studio, which from what I understand will be the biggest in southern Italy, with possibly, they were talking about even an infinity pool. I'm not sure if that will happen. Not the infinity, the pool, the water tank, but certainly there will be production studios and all kinds of post-production abilities there. Obviously, construction is just starting, so this won't be for another, knowing Italy, maybe a couple of years, but they seem to be determined to do this fast. So that's my pitch for Calabria.
So, thank you, Cristina Bolla, Stefania Ippoliti, Silvia Bizio, Nevina Satta, Cristina Priarone. They are going to be here until the end of the American Film Market. They are across the hall. You will see the Film Commission, and then on the 6th floor we have the Italian Trade Association offices for producer. And I wanted to thank you for coming and for listening. I wanted to open a little bit to question. We have very little time. But before doing that, I want to thank again Alessandra Rainaldi and the Italian Trade Association, together with their team of, I don't see her, Anna Sannito and Alessandra Mantegazza and everybody else, and Olga, for making and put it all together. And I wanted to open to the public if there is any specific question. We have two, right there. One, first lady in white.
Hi, I'm gonna take the opportunity of you women up there, rock stars like Cristina Priarone and all the rest. What a wonderful panel. I've been stalking these women, and I am so happy throughout the markets, from Venice to throughout the markets, because I have a very important question to ask you, and I congratulate the Italian agency here in Los Angeles for actually bringing these women here with their tax credits and everything else that they have to offer. My question is, you briefly talked about Enit, and I mean Netflix and Enit. So the big question is, how do we access, can somebody explain to us what is this new deal, which sounds so exciting, about Enit and Netflix for productions? One more question, just a quick one, sorry. Are the funds, can you, Nevina or any of you, can you put them together? Like if I get money from Tuscany, can I come and knock on your door on the one-way ticket? Yeah, great, thank you.
Regarding our activities with Netflix, as I told before, we organize a support fund of €1 million in the lockdown period for the COVID emergency. And then we are about to build up an initiative for the training of the professionals in Italy. And also we have a website, Italy for Movies, which is realized together by Italian Film Commission and the DG Cinema and Cinecittà, which is very useful because you can find there all the location, the funds and the opportunities. And Netflix supported also this website since 2 months. So it's a sort of help in promoting our territories. And Enit is partner of Italian Film Commission specifically. They supported us for the Cappuccino with the Italians, so the networking initiative that we realized during the different festival. Obviously, it's a relationship focused on specific activities. And I know what's the point, because I would like to be helpful for the producers and the authors in facilitating the access
for Netflix in the conversation with Netflix in Italy. And we are trying to do it, but you know, they have rules very strict and they are organizing this kind of access in Italy. So, but we are working on it.
Me too. I also, I would like to just open to the public if you have any question for specifically on the tax credit, because our Iole Giannatasio is in Italy and is very late. So if you guys want to take advantage of the fact that she's still with us virtually, and if you have a question specific on the tax credit, on funds and so on, please go ahead, or minority co-production, please go ahead. If we have anyone who want to ask to Iole Giannatasio questions. Sorry, there she is.
Thank you very much, I agree. It's a fantastic panel. Thank you so much for being here. I'm a Canadian producer, and I would like to know, I have two questions. One is if we work with an Italian company to access the credits there, does it have to be majority-owned Italian company, or can we, how does that work? That's my one question. And my second question is, with the new change of government, do you predict things are going to change, or were you okay till 2026, as you mentioned earlier?
Iole would like you to... Yeah, we can't hear you. Sound, please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. Did you got the question for you about the minority or majority ownership of a company in Italy that has to be fully Italian, or could be a co-production, a company who has foreign capital in it? So when we say Italian company, can we also say company that they have investment or partnership with foreign funds?
Generally, an Italian company is a company that is based in Italy and pays taxes in Italy. Then there might be maybe participations, but it has to be fully Italian. But that doesn't mean that when I speak of co-productions, I speak of the project, not of the company. So a project that is produced between an Italian company and a foreign company can still have access to our tax credits. Nevertheless, it's the Italian producer, the one accessing the tax credit, because you need to pay taxes in order to offset the tax steps through the incentive. I'm not sure whether I answered the question, but when I think so. Of minority or majority co-production, is still the Italian producer accessing, when instead it's a foreign project, so not an Italian project, a project produced by a foreign company. It would be the Italian line producer, the executive producer on the territory, accessing the tax credit and then, let's say, transferring it to the foreign producer. Regarding the new government, I mean, I can't say whether they want to revise our system. It has been functioning very well, but we're already aware that there are things that need some fine-tuning. So of course, and we're constantly revising it, because you know that we live in a very fast-moving ecosystem, you know, with thanks to the evolution of the technologies and the consumers' habits and everything. So we constantly have to revise it in order to update it to the to timely needs of the industry. But that being said, I'm sorry, I'm just an employee at the ministry. I cannot say what the political future evolution might be.
And
I just wanted to add one thing about the possibility of combining regional funds and national funds. Yes, it is possible. They basically are matching funds in most cases. And answering to our Canadian producer fellow, many regional funds have actually a possibility of being connected directly from the international producer to the regional fund. So that is another asset to get in. And then remember also that through the Eurimage funding scheme, Canada has been admitted and considered a co-producer in the European scheme. So that's another level where you can enter it. And more specifically for animation, there are various regions where we are opening the partnership with Canada specifically for development fund as well. So I think we can talk, and there are various possibilities on that front.
Great.
Questions. There was another question.
There was another question back there. Yes.
Yes, hello.
In relation to the costs that qualify for the tax credit, do you include the cost for talent when they are above the line? Do you have the test of used and consumed in Italy, even though you're paying a foreign talent who is not it qualifies as Italian because it's used and consumed in Italy, although you'll be paying an English actor, for example? That's my first question. The other question is, you've indicated that some extra points are coming for co-productions. Which territory qualify for these extra points? And finally, are you publishing a detailed summary of all the various way to qualify for the tax credits? Can we get access to a really detailed documentation that we can then use?
Jole, please.
Yes, I apologize because I hardly hear the question, so I'll try to interpret here. And I need to be super quick because our office is closing, and unless I want to spend the night here, I really need to leave. Apologies.
Sure. The first question is, can we pay, for example...
The above-the-line expenses are eligible up to 30% of the overall budget of the project. Anyhow, in the case of a foreign productions, they're only eligible if paid directly by the Italian line producer. It means through a contract with the Italian line producer, and still within this ceiling of 30% of the budget of the film or the project. Regarding countries, we don't make differences between countries. I mean, co-production.
Yeah.
Well, probably to the last question, yes, the information is all on the website, and also Roberto Stabile briefly told you that also the Association of Producers in Italy has a constant update on the regulation, and the information comes also in English. So if you go to the ANICA website, there is regular updates on how the regulations are changing. And of course, the Italian Film Commission's website. Jole is back online. Okay. She's back for your second question.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. I don't know where
you were talking about the above the line, and the fact that I think the problem could be solved by having your talent in loan, and then you have 30% of the entire budget that you can apply to for your above the line.
And I was adding there are no preferences in terms of countries, except for maybe the selective scheme in which non-EU countries make more points, let's say, but in general for the tax credit it doesn't make any difference. It's just enough that that's a co-production. I really apologize, but unfortunately I need to leave you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and we can give your email, can we, if someone has a specific question? Thank you.
Of course.
Unfortunately, we don't have much more time, and we have coffee and a little bit of breakfasty kind of stuff for our guest. I just wanted to close and say thank you for coming here. I'm sorry you're not Italian, but Italy is open for you with everything.
But you may have ancestors and you just don't know, so maybe we can start working on your DNA test. How about that?
Well, that's
we have one more question over here.
We have time for one more question.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Tonantzin Mondragon from the Lumen Project. This is specifically for the gentlewoman from Sardinia. Can you speak more about the VR development for the under-18 market? Are you developing? Are you doing it with other international companies?
We started a writer's room dedicated to under-18 content with the published author of kids literature, together with the main book fairs in Europe. This is thanks to a partnership that we developed with the Kidscreen and the Malmo under-18 content market, where there is an ongoing pedagogical research that combines various regional funds in Europe that participate to the network called Cineregio, where we are members of, and which dedicates its attention not only to the creation of original content with a clear local sensibility, but also to the pedagogy of the methodology of testing with the audience. So it is part of the development of, developing the audience European strategy. And we can definitely have a chat after that, so I can give you more details and contact. The reference person for us has been Viola Gabrielli and the team that was working around the Warsaw Film Commission. Okay?
And Nevina, what about the VR?
The VR is part of the investment because, of course, a lot of the kids are getting exposed to, new formats. So there is an ongoing, as you know, concern about how VR is going to affect the capacity of social interaction. So there are great studies at various European universities studying the potential side effects, so to say, of VR. The Venice Film Market has developed years ago a VR section in its academy, and we are helping them to emphasize, let's say, the borderline moments in the pure creation of original content and new formats. So the under 18 is like, the borderline, presence that keeps the artistic research free, but also extremely connected to the proper public use of certain public funding for development in VR. Okay?
Great. I think we might have a little bit more time until they kick us out. Or we have to wrap it up. Yeah.
Mine's really short. Hi, I work for HBO, and we do have projects in Italy, and we have managed to capture the incentive. My question is there talks potentially of having a VFX post-only incentive that would come on the grid, as there are really good Italian post-production houses, and that's something that we've been looking to kind of explore.
So about post-production, I would like to, Cristina, maybe to reply, since you have the overview of, or Stefania.
Here we are. Anyway, we do have some interesting proposals from different regions because you can find special funds and calls to apply for those in Veneto, for example, in Toscana as well, but not only in the two of our regions, because you can find mostly in different regions this kind of opportunities, and it's quite easy to apply. Maybe Cristina wants to add something.
We work on the harmonization of funds exactly for this target, so you can get access to different funds for different needs. And specifically on post-production, usually the way to support production, it means it's focused on costs. So it doesn't matter post-production or talent, so you need to spend on the territory. And mostly through a producer based in that region. But you can harmonize very easily the different funds.
And I think it might be helpful for you to know that with the video game landscape being developed very quickly, also thanks to the work of the National Association of Video Game Developers that are our partners, we are expanding the spectrum of the regional capacity of having small companies that can be combined and create interesting services, mostly partnering with European partners. But always keep in mind, we deal with public funding. So there is the little trick that post-production cannot be separated from production. Otherwise, it would lose the exclusion as a cultural creation. So we always have to keep it, as Cristina was saying, within the production budget. It cannot be isolated with a specific fund, because that is a European imposed regulation of protection of the creative process and not just the payback of a pure peer-to-peer service.
So if we had a production in Europe, would that work, or does it have to
Absolutely.
be in Italy?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And the post-production costs can be eligible for all the funds that we mentioned today.
Unfortunately, we are really at the end, and
Filomena is a hero, not just a little bit of expertise.
Thank you. So to be clear, your foreign talent needs to pay taxes in Italy, and that means that you need to apply withholding tax. So it's a very simple solution. You simply withhold 30% of their fee. The talent needs to be engaged by your Italian service provider or your co-producer, whatever the case may be, and you withhold 30% and their fee, and this is for all in front of the camera talent, and that will fully qualify for the tax credit. The complication comes where you may have, where you're dealing with guilds, with maybe the SAG. That gets a little bit more complicated, but it's very solvable. So.
Okay, thank you again, and please join us for coffee and little things.